Hi everyone. If you've ever walked into a room that feels like the walls are holding heat, you know that a regular fan just doesn't cut it. That was basically the situation I was dealing with. The room would get sticky, warm, and uncomfortable, especially during the hotter part of the day, and by nighttime, it was even worse, because sleeping in that kind of heat is just miserable. I didn't want something complicated, and I didn't want a permanent window unit sitting there all season, so I decided to try this portable air conditioner. And after using it for a while, I can say it has made a very noticeable difference in day-to-day comfort. The first thing I want to talk about is the setup, because that was one of the things I was most unsure about. Portable air conditioners can look a little intimidating when you first take them out of the box, especially with the hose and window kit, but this one was actually very straightforward. Everything I needed was included, and the window kit fit well, without me having to go hunting for extra parts or tools. From opening the box to having it placed by the window and ready to run, the setup was quick. For me, it felt like something you could realistically get done in about 10 to 15 minutes if you take your time. The hose connects easily, the window sealing kit feels solid, and once it's in place, it doesn't feel like a temporary mess. It looks much cleaner than I expected. Once I turned it on, the biggest surprise was how fast the room started changing. I've used portable AC units before that mostly just blow cold air right in front of them, and if you're not standing directly in that path, the rest of the room still feels warm. This one felt different. Within a few minutes, I could feel the air getting cooler, and after a little more time, the entire space felt much more comfortable. I've used it in a larger living room that's roughly in that 650 to 700 square foot range, and I honestly didn't expect a portable unit to handle that kind of space as well as it did. It doesn't just make one corner cool. The auto swing helps spread the cold air around the room, so the cooling feels more even. That's been one of the most useful parts for me, especially in a living room where people are sitting in different spots. It also works really well in a bedroom. In my master bedroom, it cools the space quickly and keeps the room feeling crisp and comfortable through the night. That has probably been one of the biggest quality of life improvements. There's a big difference between trying to sleep in a warm room and falling asleep in a cool room with steady airflow. The controls are simple, which I appreciate. There's a clear digital display on the front, and the buttons are easy to understand. But honestly, I use the remote most of the time, especially at night when I'm already in bed and don't want to get up to change the setting. Being able to adjust the temperature or switch modes from across the room makes it feel much more practical for everyday use. If you're thinking about getting one, I actually found a pretty good price on this. I'll leave the link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. Another thing I like is that this isn't just an air conditioner. It also has fan mode, dehumidifier mode, sleep mode, and a timer. The dehumidifier function has been surprisingly useful, because where I live, the air can feel heavy and humid before the temperature even gets unbearable. When the humidity drops, the whole room feels more comfortable, even before it gets fully cold. The timer is also something I use more than I expected. I like being able to set it so the unit turns off automatically, instead of running all night. It's especially helpful if I just want to cool the room down before bed, then let it shut off later. There's also a 24-hour timer, so you can set it around your schedule, rather than constantly remembering to turn it on or off manually. Sleep mode is another feature that actually matters. I'm pretty sensitive to noise at night, so I was curious how loud this would be. Like any portable AC, you can hear it when the compressor kicks on, so I wouldn't call it completely silent. But it's not obnoxious or distracting. In sleep mode, it settles into more of a gentle hum, and I've been able to sleep comfortably with it running. During the day, the sound is easy to ignore. At night, it becomes more like background noise. If you expect total silence from any air conditioner, that's probably not realistic. But compared to other units I've used, this one is very reasonable. Maintenance has also been easier than I expected. One of the things I disliked about older portable AC units was dealing with water drainage all the time. With this one, for normal cooling, I haven't had to constantly empty a bucket or worry about it every day. It handles condensation in a low-maintenance way during regular use, which is a big plus. If you're using it mainly as a dehumidifier, or if your space is extremely humid, then draining may still be something to keep in mind. But for regular cooling, it has been simple. Now, as far as portability goes, this unit is definitely movable, but it is not exactly lightweight. It has some weight to it, and that's something you notice if you're trying to lift it. But the built-in wheels make a big difference. I can roll it from one room to another without much trouble, and the hidden handles help when repositioning it. So while I wouldn't want to carry it up and downstairs constantly, moving it around the same floor is very manageable. Some portable AC units are bulky and kind of ugly, and they stick out in the room in a bad way. This one has a clean, modern look. It still looks like an appliance, of course, but it doesn't feel like an eyesore, sitting in the living room or bedroom. The front display is easy to read, and the overall design feels well put together. In terms of performance, it has been reliable. It cools quickly, keeps the temperature consistent, and doesn't feel like it has to struggle the whole time. That was important to me because I didn't want a unit that runs non-stop and still leaves the room warm. This one has been able to bring the temperature down and maintain comfort without feeling overworked. I've also been happy with the energy side of it. I was worried that running a portable AC would make a noticeable dent in my electric bill, but it hasn't been a major issue for me. Obviously, energy use will depend on how often you run it and the size of your space, but in my experience, it has been efficient enough that I don't feel guilty using it when I need it. The best way I can describe this portable air conditioner is that it feels practical. It's not complicated, it cools fast, it gives you useful modes, and it's easy to live with. The remote, timer, sleep mode, auto swing, and dehumidifier all feel like features I actually use, not just extras listed on the box. The main drawbacks are pretty minor. It is a bit heavy if you need to lift it, and you will hear the compressor when it's running. But with the wheels, the weight is manageable, and the noise level is completely reasonable for a portable AC. For me, those small trade-offs are worth it, because of how much more comfortable the room feels. Overall, I think this is a strong option if you need cooling for a bedroom, living room, home office, or another larger space where a regular fan just isn't enough. It's easy to install, easy to control, cools quickly, and has been especially helpful during hot, humid days and warm nights. If you want something portable, effective, and low maintenance without dealing with a permanent window unit, this one is definitely worth considering. If you have any questions about this product, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.